So far, the winter tour has been a season of firsts. On the first stop, Carolyn Doran captured her first title. The next week, Leanne Barrett's victory set the tone for her to lead in all the major categories kept on the tour. In New Orleans, tears of joy cascaded as Debbie McMullen captured her long-awaited first championship. And last week, in her rookie season on the Pro Tour, Tammy Turner won her first professional title. Tonight, the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour comes to Corpus Christi. Yes, for the first time in its 13-year history. ESPN and the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour present the championship round finals of the AMF Ninja Challenge. If this series of firsts is going to continue, the weight falls squarely on the shoulders of Darris Street, the only finalist looking for her first title. But wait, we've never had any of the women throw a 300 game on television, but Kim Couture, our top qualifier, threw back-to-back perfectos earlier this week. Today, we're just a short hop from the Gulf of Mexico and beautiful Corpus Christi for the 1994 AMF Ninja Challenge. Hello, everybody. Hi, folks. I'm John Neighbor. Along with me, Leila Wagner, and, of course, a lot of great surprises in this season. Brand new names in the winner's circle, but the whole country was talking about those back-to-back 300s.
That's right. Kim Couture threw back-to-back 300s in the first round of match play. She also took the lead in this tournament in the second round of qualifying, which made her very intimidating because she never looked back. And, John, she is so focused on making this title her second national title.
Now, of course, the number 2 position thus far, Darris Street, a name that we've not seen much of on television recently.
Well, a newcomer to the tour, she has bowled in a few previous events, mainly the doubles events, as she has made 2 telecasts. But tonight she said, I am very nervous. I don't know how I'm going to do out there all by myself. Something Darris is going to have to watch for, though, is that there are 2 left-handers prior to her match. If she doesn't make some changes quickly on the lanes, she may run into trouble.
Well, of course, she might run into trouble in the number 3 seed, Dee Dee Davidson. A lot of positive thinking, a lot of optimism out of her.
Well, Dee Dee Davidson has bowled very well throughout the swing. She has cashed in 4 out of 5 events, and she told me, I've been waiting in the wings for my chance to excel on my conditions.
Well, of course, the first matchup features the 4 and 5 seeds. That's Sue Neidig and Cindy Coburn-Carroll. And, Leila, what I found most interesting in match play, the number 5 beat all the top 4 seeds in match play.
And she would like to do it tonight, just to go right on up the ladder.
She'll be starting on lane 35. Cindy is 36 years of age. Been with the tour quite a while.
15 years. And in those 15 years, she has 14 national titles, 4 of which have come from this opening match.
Leaves the 7 pin in the first frame.
And as you mentioned, 36 years old, from Buffalo, New York. One of the only families to have 3 pro titleists. Her mother was a Hall of Famer, or is a Hall of Famer, was a 17-year professional, had 3 national titles. Her sister Kathy, also a titleist, pro titleist, and now Cindy Coburn-Carroll, a pro titleist on the tour.
Coached by her father.
That's right. We talked about it last night, and we were trying to think if there was any other families that had 3 pro titleists. We thought about the Webbers, but of course it's just Dick and Pete there with pro titles, so they qualify as the only ones.
The first family of bowling. Sue Neidig's up next. She's starting off with lane 36. Oh, she just goes by the pocket. Leaves the 247.
Sue's really been bowling well also this swing. You can see she's qualified 4th, bowled well this week, averaged 215, scores relatively high as it took a 207 average to make the match play, 202 average to cash this week. But Sue made 4 out of the 5 cuts, or has cashed 4 out of the 5 events. She is now playing the tour full-time, has just taken that on this her 4th year full-time. Prior to that, she was always a part-time player.
And Sue picks up the spare in the first. Crosses over. A lot of left-handers in the top 5 this time. Sue being one of 3 southpaws who will be bowling in tonight's show.
And something that they'll find out as the night goes on, John, is that their lane condition, and as I talked about in the opening with Dara Street, it will change a little quicker than they are used to. Normally you don't find 3 left-handers on one pair for any length of time.
Is the opposite also true? It changes less than would be expected for the right-handers?
Exactly. Matter of fact, I was talking to Kim Couture when she was practicing, and she was telling me a little bit about the condition, and she said, and with just 2 of us on here, I don't expect the condition to break down. So, very true. Cindy Coburn-Carroll averaging 212 this week. Has the most TV match wins in a season with 15, and that came in 1984. A very tough competitor on the telecast. Also the most consecutive TV wins in a season with 11, and that came in the years of 85 and 86.
Cindy left the 2-pin. She'll pick that one up. So as she crosses over, I should mention that we spoke with her earlier and asked Cindy how she's handled all the changes in her game.
My game is such as I've tried to build a good foundation, and no matter what changes I've gone through and trying to, go a little bit out of the realm of my game, I always end up going back to the basics. They always seem to pull me through when I'm in slumps and when I'm, having trouble or trying to make changes. It seems like just having that good foundation usually has helped me with my longevity out here and been able to maintain, consistent cashes and wins now and then.
And wins now and then could be forthcoming if she keeps it up. A strike in the 3rd.
And Cindy has really dedicated herself this year to her bowling. She has been practicing very diligently. She's very focused right now into having a great year. 93 did not seem to be a good year for her. She dedicated a lot of personal time to being the secretary of the Association of Women Pro Bowlers, which is our inside group.
Leaves the 10.
Sue Neidig's daughter, Tara, at home watching. She said, please make sure you say hello to her.
And a happy birthday. She turned 11 last month.
Oh, that's right. Speaking of birthdays, my son Alex turned 2 this week, and also my grandfather, Art, an avid fan of the ladies' tour, watches every telecast, and the men's tour, had a birthday on Tuesday as well. So happy birthday, Grandpa.
Absolutely. We're all getting a little bit older. That quick spare for Neidig in the 3rd. And so now as we follow the scores, a 1-pin lead.
Really bowled excellent yesterday morning. Shot 286 over for 6 games. That's almost a 250 average. Roughly high 240s. Made a big move.
She gets them all in the 4th frame. And so Sue Neidig looks like she's doing well. Be back with more of the AMF Ninja Challenge when our coverage returns to Corpus Christi. More. Later today, Championship Week on ESPN. That's 7 games live beginning at 11:30 Eastern Time. 5 conference championships, including the Mid-American Conference, Southwest, and Big Sky Conference right here on ESPN. Back in the 4th frame with the first match between number 5 seed Cindy Coburn-Carroll.
4-time WIBC All-American, 4-time Bowlers Journal All-American. Started bowling at the age of 9.
Finds the pocket and the strike. That's 2 in a row.
First double of the match. We're going to take a look at exactly where Cindy's playing the lanes, right around the 2nd arrow. But the ball's breaking nicely. 10 in the pit. Throwing the ball roughly 16.9 miles per hour. We're going to get a chance to look at exactly where she's playing. The ball at the second board at 15 feet, crossing over the first arrow at 30, and the ninth board at 40 feet. So a very direct line to the pocket, 16.9 miles per hour, like I mentioned before. She's playing a slightly point shot with a little hold in the center of the lane. Perfect for the turkey.
So that puts her 19 pins up now. It's up to Sue Neidig. Can she stay with the pressure? She's working on a strike.
Sue really has devoted more in the past 2 years, she said, than any time in the past to her game. She's decided this is what she wants to do now, and if she's going to be out here, she wants to be good enough to compete. Oh,
ooh, left the 9.
Solid 9. That would have kept her right in the match for a double. Bad break for Sue Neidig.
Sue's made 4 out of 5 cuts on this swing so far this year. But her top finish is 9th place until this tournament when she made the show. We had the chance to speak with Sue earlier. We asked her to discuss her performances on this swing so far.
I made 4 out of 5 cuts. My highest finish up until then was, up until tonight was 9th. I finished 9th in Columbia, Tennessee. Last week I was the only left-hander to make the cut. It was kind of a confidence booster right there.
She needs confidence, working on a spare. Now she's in the 6th frame.
Well, she made some physical changes in her game. She says, I'm holding the ball a little bit higher now. Seems to help with my timing. I've changed some pitches in my grip. That this has also helped for more of a clean release, and it really has benefited her this swing. This is probably the most consistent she has been in her career.
She takes a lot of pride in getting the spares. I guess you don't want to be in a position to have to shoot for the spares, though. She's now...
Well, it's critical to be a good spare shooter out on tour. If you are, you stay right in the hunt at all times. You never get out of it, out within reach of making a top 24, making a check.
So Cindy, working on 3, is in the 6th frame. She enjoys a 20-pin lead. Probably put this one a little bit further away with a strong strike.
She was inducted into the State University Buffalo Hall of Fame in 1984. Has just accomplished so much in 15 years.
And she gets another strike to make it 4 in a row. 15 years on the Pro Tour, but she started bowling 25 years ago. When she was 9. She's certainly been around the block.
We're going to take a look at the deliberate push away. Cindy Coburn-Carroll uses all of the approach, has a 5-step approach. Watch here as she completely pushes the ball out. She has relatively slow footwork, so she has a nice long pendulum swing, excellent knee bend, good position. She was having shoulder problems for quite a while, felt that it was tendonitis possibly moving up into her shoulder. But this week it has not been bothering her.
She found the line once again, 5 in a row. Now she has a 40-pin lead. Looks like she's going to have strong hold on this first match here at the AMF Ninja Challenge. We'll be back with more. Don't go away. Welcome back to Corpus Christi. Sue Neidig trailing by 40 pins. She's working on a spare in the 7th frame.
2-time Miami Herald Bowler of the Year. A native of Allentown, Pennsylvania. Sue enjoys jet skiing and photography in her off time.
And she pulls a strike in the 7th frame.
Really has been virtually in the pocket every frame except the first frame. 10-pin, that solid 9 in the 5th, the 7-pin in the 6th. Right now, it's critical that she gets this shot right here in the 8th frame to have any chance at all in this match as she's trailing by 40 pins.
Not only does she have to get it, Cindy has to start missing.
Or stop striking, right? Is that what you
Right.
trying to do her part, and she does. So she keeps a little pressure on Cindy Coburn-Carroll. And as I mentioned as we went away to break there, that Cindy Coburn's shoulder was feeling much better this week. One of the reasons, Dr. James Posey and Dr. Yvonne Landavazzo, if I know I did not pronounce that correctly, were the two of them were on hand all week to help the ladies out. They are with the American Chiropractic Sports Council, and we really appreciate having them here.
And she makes it 6 in a row. A nice string going for Coburn-Carroll. Holds on to her 40-pin lead.
And again, another shot. Picture perfect, right around the 8th, 9th board, holding pocket. Can't get any better than that one. Cindy's playing a little farther outside than she had during the week. She said they're a little drier. Here's a look at the bowler track. As you can see, the 8th board, again crossing 30 feet the 8th board and 45 feet the 11th board. So she has a little area. If you recall, a couple frames ago, we saw the bowler track where she had set the ball much farther to the right and came up. So she has a nice line to the pocket right now.
It's working for her. Strikes in all but the first 2 frames right now. For Coburn-Carroll, she's extended her lead to 50 pins.
I know her husband Jerry is extremely excited at this point in time. He is a senior, has 1 year left, and he will be on to teaching elementary school. He loves it, and the kids love him. Getting a degree in elementary education. So good luck, Jerry. I'm sure you'll do great.
And a hat trick for Neidig. She gets strikes in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Pulls back to within 40 pins.
Right now, Sue Neidig can shoot a possible 239 game, but Cindy Coburn-Carroll is on her way to shooting 279.
Her high game in the tournament for Cindy Carroll was a 265, so it would be better still than she's done this week.
Nothing like posting your high game of the week on the telecast. I couldn't imagine having such bad luck. Hate it when that happens, right? Oh, beautiful shot by Sue. She's bowled very, very well throughout this whole game. They said since really the very first frame, feasibly she could have shot 290 if she gets the next 2, but just did not carry that 9-pin, the 10 in the 3rd, the 7th and the 6th. Nothing you can do when your opponent throws virtually nothing but strikes at you, as we saw a couple weeks ago when Leanne Barrett came out and threw those 9 strikes in a row.
Well, Neidig said earlier that she expects high scoring to be the secret here. Certainly the case in this first match.
Yeah, a disappointing finish, I'm sure, for Sue Neidig, as she probably is saying to herself right now, if I could have just bowled someone else right now.
That's right. She could have had a great match.
High game this week for Sue Neidig was 279. Her average on the television pair, 249. She liked this pair. She said this end of the house seemed to be a little tighter, as they were playing a little tighter tonight for her.
Well, she strikes out with a final score of 239, and so it puts a little bit of question in the air.
Cindy Coburn-Carroll must get 7 pins to advance to match number 2.
And her string goes to 8 in a row. That's all she needs to win this first match. She'll advance to meet number 3 when we return. But coming up, we'll get to the core of these balls they're throwing down the lanes. Leala has a story when we return. We're back inside the AMF Island Bowl Center for the AMF Ninja Challenge in Corpus Christi, Texas. John Neighbor and Leala Wagner, the start of the second match. It'll be over there on lane 35. And Cindy Coburn-Carroll gets to go first. She just bowled a 279.
Your match play record this week, 15 wins, 9 losses. Oh, not a good opening shot. Sometimes that commercial break, you don't get out of the ball real clean.
So a string of 10 strikes in the first match comes to a close.
A lane breakdown for 35 and 36, as you can see there. She actually likes both lanes about the same. She finished up her 10th lane 6, so she got a couple extra opportunities to throw a couple more strikes, and she did just that. She is playing, though, the left lane a little deeper than the right lane. According to Bowler Track, we were able to get the exact figures. Appears that lane 35 is hooking a little bit more than 36. She is playing about 2 boards deeper. And our first look at Dee Dee Davidson. 10th year on the professional tour with 4 national titles. Very fierce competitor.
Ooh, missed the pocket, left the 2 and 4.
And a shot coming up high again, trying to get loose on that opening shot of the match. Sometimes it's easy to come out and squeeze a little harder and not get your timing good. Just get the ball off your hand.
Dee Dee said she was happy to start in the 3rd position. I presume because she wanted a warm-up match or 2 before the championship match.
Well, oddly enough, she has no titles from the number 3 position. And you heard her yell 2. She did just that, chopped the 2 right off the 4.
Well, the break didn't fall her way. She is now tied on the crossover.
The 1985 Ebonite Rookie of the Year has won 2 majors. The 1991 WIBC Queens, and she is the reigning U.S. Open champion. Another Queens titleist, Cindy Coburn-Carroll, won the 1992 WIBC Queens champion. Beautiful shot there. She just dices the rack. But she's working on her timing. I need to stay slow. She said they're a little tighter, and I need to just keep my feet slow and concentrate on my time.
So now in the 2nd frame, with an open frame in front of her, Cindy Coburn-Carroll working to keep up with Dee Dee Davidson and the strike. She does.
And back online as she hits lane 36. I really think it was just the ball did not get off Cindy's hand clean on lane 35. A little slower ball speed. You don't get a good feel, and when you have to wait a lot of times for the commercial break.
One of the things longevity in a career might give her is the ability to spot the lane changes and adjust to them more easily.
I don't necessarily mean it more easily for longevity. Actually, being a professional alone, being a member of the tour and getting to this level, most of the players out here have that, John. They have that ability to adjust quickly and see the changes in the lanes very, very fast, or they wouldn't be able to compete out here at all.
Well, she left 2 on that ball.
Coming up high again on lane 35. According to our Bowler Track, she definitely hit inside of target there. She 15 feet, hit the 12th board. She has been playing around the 9th board on that lane.
We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the AMF Ninja Classic. Due to time constraints, our bowlers bowled through the break. During that period, Cindy Coburn-Carroll made it 4 strikes in a row with a spare in the 8th. Dee Dee Davidson had a turkey, followed by a spare and a strike.
Very, very close match as Dee Dee Davidson working on a strike can get up in the 9th frame and put this match right back to even. Big shot for Cindy Coburn-Carroll here in the 9th.
A lot of relief on her face there.
Well, with that shot right there, John, there is no way that Dee Dee Davidson can lock Cindy Coburn-Carroll out. We could have a possible tie match if Dee Dee Davidson were to get up right now, strike in the 9th, put 3 strikes together in the 10th. Cindy Coburn-Carroll could get up, put 3 strikes in the 10th, and we'll see a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. Not been her good lane so far. Oh, the pocket, though. Leaves the 4-pin in the channel. Right now, concentrating on just picking up the spare. Again, not sure what your opponent's going to do. So Didi said she just takes one shot at a time. Doesn't look back.
Didi has 14 perfect games to her credit. She's really hoping to do one on television this week.
Coached by Giplin Team, sponsored by Larry Tutori, a native of Santa Clara, California. Didi works as a PBC bowling camp instructor. Mostly those camps are run in the summertime when the players are off the tour, and some fine instruction.
Little self-talk going on there. Come on, come on.
Well, count is very critical at this point. She's working on a spare. A strike keeps her within 10 pins.
Okay, she says. Okay, I get the ball again in the 10th.
Again, and that's 2 more strikes. She shoots 218. She forces Cindy Coburn-Carroll to fill 20 in the 10th for the tie again. So right now, she's just thinking, one shot at a time, get as many as I can. Actually holds the record for the highest average TV games in a season, 238. That was set in 1989.
She won't get that here. But she may survive this match and get a chance to show it later on. There's 2 in a row.
She actually needed last night to qualify in this number 3 position. She could be thinking about that match, as she needed 2 strikes and 9 pins last night to go around Sue Neidig. She got them.
And a little hop of joy for good reason.
And Cindy Coburn-Carroll knows what she is up against right now. Count, again, very important right here. A strike there would have forced Cindy Coburn-Carroll to pass the strike on the first ball, but because she only got 9, Cindy Coburn-Carroll needs a spare and a strike to win the match.
So she's working on 1 strike in the 10th frame.
It comes down to this, John. She needs a spare. It's been her good lane. Oh, she goes left.
Well, she's still not out of it.
No, she's not. She has to pick this up, and then she must strike to win. 9, we have a tie. Switching ball. One that will not hook for her. Trying to go very direct at the 6-10. No chance of chopping. No problem with the spare. And this is where I mentioned that shot by Didi Davidson in last shot in the 10th. Count was very critical.
There's nothing for Didi to do now but just wait.
That's right.
That's a frustrating position to be in, isn't it? Just having to sit and twiddle your thumbs. Can't do anything about it. You want to say boo. Needs the strike for the win. Didi Davidson, the winner, dodges a bullet here in the 2nd match at the AMF Ninja Challenge. These replicas of the Columbus fleet were built by the government of Spain to commemorate the 500th anniversary of Columbus's discovery of the New World. They're now docked here in Corpus Christi. We'll be back. Next Sunday, you get to watch the $50,000 Texas Border Shootout from Flamingo Bowl in McAllen, Texas. That'll be at 11 p.m. Central. Great bowling action continues. All the great bowlers should be there, including Lisa Wagner. Back here at the Island Bowl for the $60,000 AMF Ninja Challenge, John Neighbor, Lisa Wagner, as we get ready to start the third match. Dee Dee Davidson begins at lane 35.
And as we have just taken a look at the top 25 finishers, one of the competitors this week was British-based AMF Bowling World Cup champion Pauline Smith. AMF awarded Pauline a trip over to the United States to compete in this event, and she did not make the top 24, but she was extremely excited to be able to come over and compete against players, like you said, Lisa Wagner, Dee Dee Davidson, and Dee Dee Davidson and her became very good friends. And Dee Dee said, I also want to thank them for being here and supporting me throughout the top 24 match games.
The first singles ball thrown on television for Dara Street. And it's a strike. Two left-handers, two southpaws in this match.
Coming out very strong, did not look intimidated whatsoever on that shot. Apparently the lanes have not changed too dramatically since she was on the pair earlier, or else she was extremely aware that they could, and she came out, took her practice shots very wisely.
Oh, difficult split.
Appeared that she got off balance as she hit the line. She did not stay down with the shot, did not keep her stance. She followed through, so a little bit fast with her feet, trying to pull the ball up to the pocket. She broke in very high. Right now, she's only going to try to get 2 pins. I'd venture to say there's not too many times you're going to make this unless you try to bounce it off the pitch.
So she takes 8 in the second frame. Big opening for Dee Dee.
Dee Dee Davidson basically now can take a sigh of relief as she is working on a strike in the first lane breakdown. Lane 35, lane 36, as you can see, definitely likes lane 35 better as she struck 7 times. Lane 36, she failed to strike.
And the 7 just leans over. Takes that one as a stroke of fortune. Dee Dee beat Darrison 25 to 259 to 230 in match play. Of course, Dee Dee's hoping for that perfect game.
Dee Dee opening up with the double now, takes 24-pin lead. We mentioned so many 300 games in all this week. She had bowled a record 299 game at the age of 11.
Oh, the 247 don't go down. So the perfect game disappears. In fact, even a 299 disappears.
Nicknamed Dieters.
I call her 3D. Dee Dee Davidson. But what do I know?
Well, you're learning more. Average on television pair, 196.5, a critical error right there for Dee Dee Davidson as she gave Dara Street an opening. As you recall, first frame, lane 36, Dara creamed the pocket.
So the doors opened again. Chance to step back into the match.
Used to bowl with her older brothers. She said, we just started bowling for fun.
Is it the condition or the pressure? What's going on here?
Well, seeing that she hit lane 36 very well in the first frame, that shot right there was just basically not a good shot, John. She had to have pulled the ball inside target, trying to get a look at bowler track here and get a comparison. When we get that, I'll get back to exactly what happened. But, you know, there's a lot of pressure on her right now. She wants to do well.
she was climbing up during the earlier rounds. We had the chance to ask her what her feelings were as she entered the final round of match play.
I knew I wasn't locked because I was in 5th and I was only 10 pins ahead of 6th place. So I knew I still had to bowl good, make good shots, and execute. So I was thinking just that till I got into 2nd. And then I said, well, I'm still not locked. Let's just finish this out and bowl good.
Now working on the spare. She's in the 4th frame.
John, you know, that's a big difference between what we heard Dee Dee Davidson mention earlier. Dee Dee Davidson was always looking ahead, whereas Dara Street there was looking behind her.
A lot of pin action in the 4th frame for the strike. It's like the 3 snuck up or is knocked down from behind.
Coming up very light as the head pin goes off the wall. The 6 pin, the 5 pin topples over, trips the 3 pin forward. Dara says, yes, a break.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Right now just trailing by 9 pins. Dee Dee Davidson trying to start her string all over again in the 4th frame. Really had a good 1993 as she was ranked 9th in earnings, 9th in average. Averaged 212 last year on the tour. Good shot there. Solid 7 pin. Dee Dee was extremely consistent in the first game. Bowler Track monitored every shot that she threw. Played between the 5 board, 6 board, every shot. That's very consistent when you're not missing by 2 or 3 boards.
So she takes the spare in the 4th frame. Makes the crossover.
Television match play streak right now. She just broke it. She had lost 1, but with that win against Cindy Coburn-Carroll, she is on a win 1.
You were going to tell me about psychological versus physical.
Yes, you were going to ask me again. You forgot to ask me. Really, there's a lot of figures that are often thrown out there, John. A lot of it's 90% mental, 10% physical.
Well, there was a lot of concentration Dee Dee Davidson put into that strike. She enjoys a small lead. We'll continue with more of the AMF Ninja Challenge when our coverage continues from Corpus Christi, Texas. Stay with us. While we were away, Street spared in the 5th and struck in the 6th, and Davidson answered in the 6th frame with a strike to hold on to a 19-pin lead at that point. And then in the 7th, her first ball, big surprise, big gasp out of the audience here.
Well, it's bound to happen. If your feet get a little too fast, you don't get the leverage, and she's playing that outside line. She dumped it in the channel.
But she picked them all up again for the spare, got her 9-pin lead. And so in the 7th, Street got her spare and spared in the 8th again to go 11 down. And so now we're here at Dee Dee Davidson, who struck in the 8th.
And with an 11-pin lead. Right now just trying to regain composure. Working on a strike. Dee Dee Davidson has a twin sister, Marissa, another sister, Twyla. She told me I'd like to say hi to all my friends at Mission Bowl.
Hi, guys. And an applause to herself there. She does a lot of self-talk. She spends a lot of time concentrating and thinking and visualizing.
Well, she said she did a lot of imagery this week, and the year that she won the U.S. Open in Detroit, or bowled on the show there in '89, she said it was like nobody else was in the building.
Many of the top athletes in the world say the same thing. Darris gets her strike in the 9th frame.
And finally, a strike on lane 36. You know, she came out so beautifully in the first shot and just crunched lane 36 and has not been anywhere close since then. According to our bowler track, she has been hitting the same spot on the lane. I'm sure she's moving with her feet, but the problem is she's been getting such an early roll that the ball has been hooking too much for her. So she had to get in a little bit on lane 36 into the conditioner.
And she makes it a double in the 10th.
And if Darris can possibly strike out, she would force Dee Dee to get the first strike in the 10th frame. It's a definite learning experience for Darius, a very talented young lady. Said her goal was always to be a professional bowler, but she had a full-time job and a husband to think about, and it just wasn't feasible. But she said, I'm no longer working, so I decided to make this my full-time job. Beautiful 2 shots there. There's one more strike would force Dee Dee to strike. We were talking earlier, John, again, of getting back to that mental game. You know, trying to throw figures mentally right now. You can see there, Dee Dee's that self-imagery going on. She's trying to visualize herself getting up, throwing the strike. Very mental. It's tough to throw figures like the 90% or the 10%, but this game is very, very mental. You've got to have a solid physical game, but you also have to have a very solid mental game to excel.
So now she needs a strike. Dee Dee Davidson has to strike in order to win this match. Darius Street's final score, 204.
Darius Street struck out for 204. Right now, a strike secures it. A 9 spare strike, and again, tie situation. See what happens. Uh-oh. You're right. Look at, could have a tie. Excellent finish by Darius. Dee Dee's over looking at the scoreboard. Good shot there. Looking just a little high. If she spares, she must strike to tie. Then we'll see a 9th, 10th frame roll-off. You're first.
That's
in
true.
Bowling,
That's
correct?
true. I'm looking forward to, well, actually, I don't know if I want to root for one or the other. I just want to see great bowling, and I think we're seeing some exciting finishes to the last 2 matches.
That's what it's all about. It's coming right down to the 10th frame. Dee Dee Davidson right now concentrating on keeping her feet slow. Do not rush the line.
So if she leaves a pin, she leaves the competition. And so a glance skyward allows Darius Street to advance to the championship match. Very exciting finish. This is the USS Lexington. It was the United States' oldest working wartime aircraft carrier. World War II, it was reportedly sunk 4 times, but it always returned to combat. We'll return to more combat here in Corpus Christi. Coming up next week, the Lipton Tennis Championships, live from the Tennis Center, Key Biscayne, Florida. Top athletes scheduled to compete: Pete Sampras, Gabrielle Sabatini, Jim Courier, and Andre Agassi. Get ready now for the championship match. Darius Street will start off on the left lane. Her first time as a single bowler on the television show, and she finds herself in the championship match.
Well, she has finished second twice in the doubles event, so she has been in the championship match, bowling for the title, but along with someone else. And before Darius gets started in this match, I wanted to mention the reopening this week of the AMF Rocket Bowl in Chatsworth, California, where Donna Adamek, former Bowler of the Year, and Karen Postaway, an LPBT member, are managing that center. It was closed for 7 weeks due to the earthquake in Southern California. Total damage, $260,000, but the center has an exciting new look, and it's located just 3 miles from Epicenter. So if you're in the area, please visit the center.
Epicenter, is that like epicenter?
Epicenter, yes.
I was there for a 6.8 in California. Kind of an exciting time. Well, unfortunately, Kim Couture is unable, or will be unable, to score a perfect score on television today. She had 2 of them earlier in the tournament. On the basis of that, she's had quite an impact on this tournament. A lot of people are pretty impressed with this young lady. 26-year-old out of Titusville, Florida.
Kim really had a sensational 1993. She was runner-up to Player of the Year. Started her career in 1991 as the Ebonite Rookie of the Year. So she has just really matured as a professional player.
Of course, everybody was talking to her. International and national newspapers. We had to ask her, what's it feel like?
And
to score back-to-back 300s. You can see she'd love to have them again.
And only 7 ladies have done it. Kim Couture, Kathy Henry did it in September. Anne-Marie Dugan, July. And there'll be 4 more coming up soon after Kim throws this shot. Carrying a light wall shot. And the other 4, as I mentioned, Nancy Seaman back in 1990, Leanne Barrett, 1990 also, Jeannie Nacarado in 86, and the first woman to ever do so, Carol Norman.
It's pretty recently, 1986. Bowling's been around a long time. It took that long to do them back-to-back.
It's difficult to get 1, let alone 2.
And how?
Her Street really trying to get lined up now in 36. You heard her say, oh.
She knew it went off wrong.
I think it was a definite advantage for Darris to finish on lane 35 against Dee Dee Davidson. She just got locked in on 35. She felt comfortable, but if she would have had to finish on 36, it might have been a different story.
And here's the prize money these ladies have been shooting for all evening. Top place here in the $60,000 AMF Ninja Challenge is $10,800. Half of that for second place, and you can see the other figures down on the screen. So quite a payday here in Corpus Christi for the winner of this match.
The 1991 Worldwide Pro Bowlers Bowler of the Year. That's a West Coast basic regional program that some great competition. You heard her yell, come on, that she has really gained a lot of competitive expertise in that association.
I don't know why it is, but I don't see any body English after they let go of the ball the way I do when I bowl. You know, the ball's halfway there and I'm moving my hip trying to get that ball. Maybe it doesn't work. Who knows?
Well, as you'll watch Kim Couture, she will not show much emotion. She has something she has been working on, so...
the 4 did a little dance, but didn't fall, and her husband is watching somewhat inscrutable.
Pete Couture, 11-year PBA member with 5 national titles. Started coaching Kim a few years back, ended up getting married, and she said, actually, he's learning a lot from me now in temperament. 2 very similar styles. She said it's fun. When we bowl in a doubles tournament, I get to line up off of him.
So Couture takes the spare. We did have a chance to ask him, you know, it feels great to win the first one, but the second 300 pin game.
I really didn't start thinking about it until about the 7th or 8th strike. And then I was still thinking I needed to get those pins. I was bowling Robin Romeo at the time, and she was matching me with strikes pretty much. So I started to get pretty nervous the 11th shot, the 10th shot, and I was very nervous on that shot, and the 11th shot was great, and then I couldn't barely walk for the 12th one. So I was just lucky to get it off my hand and get it close to the pocket.
Big smile now from Kim Couture. She just struck in the 4th. Now Darris Street's working on her strike in the 3rd. The pressure on a perfect game is somewhat, I would guess, like a baseball player in the 7th inning of a no-hitter. You know, it builds exponentially. Ooh, an unfortunate split for Darris.
You heard Darris say, come on. We didn't get a chance to look at it, too. Now, according to Bowler Track, she's still hitting right around the 5th board, and when she does, the ball just hooks a little too earlier. She's not able to get the ball down the lane. Really needs to move in right with her feet. Ball coming up high, bad break, 6, 7, 10. She's got to get into where she's playing at least around the 6th or 7th board to have the ball slide in the conditioner a little bit longer.
So that open in the 4th, 68 pins, her score. Kim Couture working on the strike. Now in the 5th frame.
Actually, Darris.
That's right, going to come back off the open frame. It's down 12 pins. And mental visualization.
That's right. She has definitely been working on that. Reading a lot of sports psychology books. says she's really taken the positive out of things now, and she's been working with a hypnotist, which I actually did in the years late 70s, 79, 80, and it really did benefit me.
Most people used to think hypnosis was something spooky, but it's really mental drills, mental relaxation, isn't it?
Exactly, and they made a personal tape, as they did for Kim, and she said she played it all week after the rounds when she would go back to her room, and it helped her relax. And Carol Carmen, Kim's mother, she said, my mother does not like to be here and watch me bowl. She says she feels that if she bowls bad, it's her fault. She's very superstitious, and Kim was telling us last night that she thought her mom would spend a lot of time in the restroom. And a light hit as the 6-pin just sits in the channel there, meaning that if she would feel much better not watching Kim.
So why do parents feel they jinx their kids by watching the competition?
You know, as a competitor, I wish it was that easy, because then you could just remove the jinx.
Right.
But unfortunately,
if it were only so true.
Right, but it's not true, and it's you can see the worried expression there in her mom's eyes. But Kim right now has a 12-pin lead.
Oh, bumped but not knocked over.
Executed very well again on that shot, but the 6-pin just sitting in the channel did not get the 10. Kim playing the lanes right around the 11th board, very tight line, keeping the ball within a 1 or 2 board swing, actually. 11th board out to the 9th board, back.
Kim's best finish so far on the tour this year, as you saw, Claremore, Oklahoma last week.
And her reaction to her first shot was like, oh, just if that 10-pin would have gone. She may be experiencing a little carry down where the conditioner carries down the lane. She is not quite getting the back end reaction that she had when she practiced an hour ago. You can see she also wears a red ribbon. A family member is HIV positive, and Kim is remembering them.
There's a little self-talk. Street adds another strike. There were other 300 games. Kim, of course, had 2 of them, but Gloria Sanders and Tammy Turner each received a perfecto in early round competition. Didn't get them into the finals, but Kim Couture did, leading all the way from the second round.
Finally, a strike on lane 36 by Darris. She hit the 6th board at 15 feet instead of the 5th board. It's amazing how one board can make that big of a difference, but it seemed to
unable to get the hat trick there.
Off balance at the line, right, raises up, almost stood up on that shot as she pulled the ball right of target.
So Darris 3 pins back. Second ball in the 7th frame.
Kim just trying to keep her hand cool. As I mentioned, the off balance. Watch Darris Street here. She really pulls the ball through, but then a little too much momentum as she stands quickly right up after she threw it.
Well, she's now seated and going into her quiet time. Kim Couture working on a spare in the 7th. The ball didn't do much there at all.
No, something very similar to what we saw Cindy Coburn-Carroll do in the 10th frame. You set it a little farther to the right, lane 36, project it down the boards instead of up towards the pocket, and the ball sails on you, hits the conditioner, and just slides.
So with that mark, the 2 are tied in the 6th frame. Here in the second ball in the 7th. Trying to pick up that spare. And so there on the scoreboard, you see the scores are even. So we enter the 8th frame, 3 frames to go, and $10,800 on the line for the winner here.
We have had 3 very close matches as they have come right down to it. Darris Street, again, just trying to stay focused in her own game. She has never been in this position before. Kim Couture trying to lock in on her second national title. Much better shot. Oh, no, 4-9. Do you recall the shot prior to that one on lane 35? She came in on a little bit light, leaves a 10-pin, half 10. This time makes a slight adjustment.
This is the most emotion we've seen out of Couture in a long time.
Well, and it's discussed because she hits that ball really nicely, and the ball just drives right through the heart of the 4 and the 9. She knew she threw that well. A terrible break. She will try to slide the 4-pin into the 9-pin. Pete knows what it feels like. He's been in the position. Giving it a good run, but only gets one.
Well, her head held high as she comes to the baseline, sits down again, and the approach. Dara Street with the opportunity to go ahead. She's got a 13-pin lead and can increase on that here.
Well, Dara Street is going to have to finish on lane 36, so apparently Kim Couture was paying attention, or she really liked lane 35 better. Also, Darius will have the pressure put on her if it gets down to it.
There seems to be a sense of frustration in the air. It's like, I don't know what I can do.
Well, there is, and as you heard there, it was like, come on, hook. That time she moved inside. She was at the 7th board at 15 feet. It only got out to the 6th board, so it really never made it out to the dry area. The ball just slid for her. Not getting a good, strong release on that shot either, though. Did not get the leverage, did not get the turn on the ball. I think if she would have got that ball back. And now an opening for Kim Couture as Dara Street just misses a critical spare in the 8th frame.
So now they're within one.
The ball deflects, does not take out the 9-pin. Just by a hair. Dara's reaction, she says, oh no, what am I doing? I'm just giving this right back to Kim, as Kim now leads by 1 pin.
So 2 frames to go, and my goodness, couldn't ask for much of a closer game than this.
Big shot in the 9th.
And they're not falling. They're just not falling tonight. High-scoring games in the early round. Is it the condition that's moving around? Is it?
Well, the condition and also the pressure of the championship match here. Both players really wanting to win this title. Darius' inexperience playing a part here. I think she has really not made excellent shots.
And this time the little self-talk worked. The ball paid attention. She's asking it to hook every time. Perhaps the ball would get the message by now.
Well, Kim actually holds her fate in her own hands right now. She could throw 3 strikes, 1 here in the 9th, 2 in the 10th, and walk away with this title. Kept the ball on inside. Last time, if you recall, lane 36, she sent it wide. It didn't come back. She tried to keep the ball tighter, but rolled in a little too early for her. Unbelievable. This is going back and forth as she leaves the 3-10, is going to try to fit the ball right between the 3 and the 10. Do you get the feeling they're saying, all right, you have it. No, you have it. Flattening it out. Oh, my. Kim only takes the 10. Gives new life to Dara Street. Because right now, Kim Couture could strike out for 182. Dara Street would have to strike and spare to tie, or 2 strikes to win.
This is really quirky. So, historically, the lowest scoring championship match on television. 306 pins. Final score 166 to 140 between Anne-Marie Duggan and Cheryl Daniels. March 93, and there's the strike. That turns the corner a little bit.
She really has hit lane 35, John. She just left that 4-9 in the 8th. She left a 10 in the 6th. She struck in the 4th. She struck in the 7th, or the 2nd. She has hit lane 35 every shot.
And Mom and Dad stayed to watch. Oh, yes.
Beautiful, and Pete Couture was up off of his chair at that one, knowing that that strike right there was going to force Dare Street to get 2 strikes in the 10th to win.
He's not showing any emotion either.
Except he jumped about 5 feet out of his chair a moment ago when she just diced the rat. Great thinking on Kim's part. She is finishing on her good lane. She had the choice. Oh, beautiful shot. Excellent finish. 182 right now. Dare Street needs 2 strikes and 1 pin to win. It has not been her good lane. Let's take a look at this strike here. Right on line, staying right between the 11th board. Beautiful, and this is her reaction. Probably the most emotion you'll see out of her.
Mom wasn't even in the restroom. She came out to see it. Great final frame for Kim Couture. Now Dare Street needs to strike twice.
Come on, one time.
There's one of them. She called for the one time. Let's see if the ball will give it to her a second time.
Phenomenal shot under the pressure for her first title, and not to be lined up on lane 36 at all throughout the match or throughout the 2 matches she was playing. Great shot. One more, or else we have a possible tie situation again. Kim knows it's out of her hands at this point in time.
So now we're looking for the tie. She needs 3 to tie.
Spare right here. As you heard Darius call herself stupid.
Is this going to be easy for her?
Well, under this situation, I don't think any spare at this point is easy. She's going to have to cross the head pin to the right and get the sleeper, get the 9 pin out as well. Oh, barely does it. She says, okay.
So now we have to go to roll-off.
35.
What a great finish. My gosh, what 3 fantastic matches. Tom Schimmick explaining that they're going to have to bowl another 9th and 10th frame. And, of course, the roles reverse.
That's right. And Rick Hudson, the tournament director, who has come on board with the LPBT in just the last couple weeks. We did want to welcome him aboard. We almost got a shot of him in there as he was jumping up to explain the rules. Dare Street right now basically bowling a 9th frame. Big breath. Beautiful shot. Kim Couture right now wanting to match her. Kim will bowl her 9th frame on lane 36, then bowl a 10th frame again on lane 35.
I can only imagine the emotional swings that this woman has been through. 200-300 games in early competition. Watch this match come and go and come and go again. Ooh, and a big open door.
And lane 36 not been favorable for Kim Couture. She knows she cannot send it right. It does not come back for her. She tries to push it up. It does not hold. Right now she needs to convert the spare, get up in the 10th frame again, and get everything she can. Well, it's the first time Pete and her mom have been on a telecast, and they are definitely getting a thrill, aren't they?
Yeah, my heart's racing.
They just
I don't know how they can sit so still. It's not see any tears now.
I think they would have much rather seen Kim come out and shoot 279. Through 3 3 beautiful shots in the 10th frame last game. Again, nails the pocket. As I mentioned, she was very focused. She is determined to win this event. She's adding a piece of tape in her thumb hole. Apparently, her grip was a little loose. Just to make sure she has a nice, tight feel, so she does not squeeze it. Sometimes if your ball is a little loose, you have a tendency to squeeze it. Do not get a good, clean release.
This is the unemotional straight look that I've grown accustomed to in the last couple of weeks. Very focused.
Excellent shot. Beautiful. Came off her hand. Fabulous.
One more ball for Couture. Still to come.
Well, one more strike gives her a score of 50. Dara Street, again, in the position to get 2 strikes and 1 pin.
That's right. How long can we prolong this ecstasy?
As long as it takes to get a champion, right? Big shot again. Look at this. She has thrown 6 consecutive strikes on lane 35. Dara Street says, 36. Do I have to get up on this lane again? This is not a replay. Yes, she needs 2 strikes and 1 pin to win.
There's smiles going on behind her, too. What a thrilling finish to this tournament. First time ever held in Corpus Christi in the history of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. What a fabulous match this has been.
Come on.
Punch, counter punch. It just keeps on coming. And on lane 36, as you said,
Fierce competitors. Dara is trying very hard to get this first title, as Kim Couture is trying to get her second.
Couture thinking quietly to herself. Street talking quite vocally to the ball. Needs a strike here.
Come on.
She's left one again.
Oh my.
We're into another ball.
Solid.
Goes over.
Solid 9 pin. No, that was it. No roll off there. Unbelievable. She crunched the pocket. And she leaves a solid 9 pin.
There's a tear as she gets to hug her husband. Kim Couture, the winner here at the AMF Ninja Challenge. We'll be back with more in just a moment. But a fantastic finish. Is Kim Couture, your champion at the AMF Ninja Challenge. Congratulations. 2 300 games, but the pressure in the final frame here had to be something remarkable.
This was more important than the 2 300s.
Well, certainly there's awards for this one as well. And, of course, Doug Patton, the area supervisor, and Steve Mackey, the regional manager for AMF, would like to present you with your trophy and, of course, the wonderful check. And a fantastic competition. You guys are lucky. You saw one of the most thrilling finishes in any bowling tournament. Congratulations, Kim.
Thank you.
So for my partner, Leila Wagner, Kim Couture, the champion, I'm John Neighbor saying thanks for joining us here in Corpus Christi. Watch us again as the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour continues on ESPN. Don't forget, folks, next Sunday, the final stop on the Samstown Ladies Pro Bowlers Winter Tour. A $50,000 purse up for grabs at the Texas Border Shootout in McAllen, Texas. All the top players should be there, including the 1993 Player of the Year, Lisa Wagner. And coming up next, get the inside story on the world of golf. Inside the Senior PGA Tour. Right here on ESPN.